All right, my friend, before we get into anything here, there's one thing that I need you to know. You are not bad at social media. You've just been handed a system that was built for someone with a full marketing team or an assistant. If you're an entrepreneur, a coach, or a service provider, and you kind of hate social media but know you need it for your business, you're in the right place. I know exactly what it feels like to start and stop posting on social media all the time, because that's exactly what I was doing in my first year of business. And look, I'm a social media manager. I do this for other people, but when it came to my own social media content, it was kind of embarrassing. You know that story about the carpenter's house never being finished? That was me. But the real reason you're struggling to be consistent on social media has nothing to do with motivation. Most of the marketing advice out there about being consistent assumes that you're a full-time content creator or you don't have a full roster of clients, and neither of those things are true, so no wonder it feels so hard to sustain. When I was posting inconsistently, I would have ideas, but I'd never have the time to go back and flesh them out. And then when I felt guilty for not posting, I would just rush through trying to post something which ended up being a tip, a hack, or a trick, and there was no real strategy behind it. But when we end up posting because we feel guilty and we just feel like we should be showing up, it ends up working against us. Because when you're creating content from a place of panic or shame or guilt, you're not showing up as the expert that you really are. And trends and viral hacks are not a strategy. It's just gonna eat up a bunch of your time for something that'll be a flash in the pan and everyone will forget about tomorrow. And there's no guarantee that the people who see that will actually be your ideal client. But more than that, when you're following somebody else's trend or hack, you kind of eliminate your personality from it. And when people can't relate to you, they're less likely to buy from you. So if you're constantly starting and stopping posting on social media, it's not because you're flawed. It just means you're following a system that wasn't built for you. And once I understood that, I stopped trying to fix me and my willpower or my motivation. And I started focusing on the things that would actually make a difference. So what does consistency on social media actually mean? It does not mean posting every single day. Say it with me. I do not need to post on social media every single day. Consistency just means showing up regularly, whether that's once a week, twice a week, or 5 times a week. It's all about finding the rhythm that you can sustain in your real life. Think about it. If you only post 4 times a month, but every single post is well thought out and has a strategy behind it and drives people to come into your funnel even more, that works better than 20 hollow posts with no strategy behind them, because people can feel the difference. So the question to ask yourself isn't, how can I post 5 times this week? It's how much time do I realistically have to work on content this week? And before you say you have no time, I want you to do a little gut check with me, because if your business is a priority, then you're gonna have to carve out some time to do marketing. And I'm not asking for hours and hours of your time. You can start small and build from there. As long as you establish a consistent posting schedule, that's what matters. So here's what I want you to do. Start with just 1 social media platform. Not 2, not 4, definitely not 5. And then start posting just once or twice a week. Start there and see how it feels. See how long you're able to sustain that rhythm. Once you build that momentum and that habit, then you can start adding more posts onto it from there. But picking the right platform and frequency is only half of it. The other part is what happens before you even sit down to write a single word. But before we keep going, if you're already thinking, how do I actually pull all of this together? I created something just for you. It's called the Social Media Quit List. It's a resource that gives you a list of 5 things that you're probably doing on social media that feel productive, but actually aren't getting you any results. And then it walks you through how to create a simple content rhythm that fits your life. You'll find a link in the description, so you can go grab that now. Here's something that no one ever tells you. The ideas for your content never come when you're actually sitting down to create content. They come when you're out on a walk, in the shower, or doing something else entirely. So if all your content ideas live in your head, you're already making this 10 times harder for yourself than it needs to be. So I want you to use something where you can capture those ideas, whether it's the Notes app on your phone or a Google Doc, somewhere where you can actually keep track of the ideas floating around in your head, so that when they come to you, you can jot them down immediately. I love using something like Airtable or Trello or Notion because it can live on my phone, I can access it anywhere, but it's also somewhere where I can keep all of my content organized. But here's the trick I have that not a lot of people know about, and it's something that can make the world of a difference in coming up with ideas. And that's a core messaging document. This is just a simple document that's almost like a brain dump. So it's gonna be where you have your content, topics, and themes, but also where you're gonna put your audience's challenges and pain points, the things that are your differentiating factors and your core offers, and the general ways that you talk about each of those things. That way, when you start creating content, you're not staring at a blank screen, but you have a foundation. If you're someone who's downloaded a bunch of templates before and tried to make them work for you, chances are they did work for a time, but they're really hard to sustain. That's because the system you use has to be built around how you actually think and work. And this is the part I really want you to hear. There is no such thing as original content, only original people. So stop trying to come up with a brand new idea every single time you post. Just focus on saying the things that you want to say in only the way that you can say them. And I'm gonna be honest with you here for a minute. Even though I had created a system that made it easy for me to sustain continuous posting, I was still struggling with ideas. I would try to reinvent the wheel every single time, thinking I needed to come up with something new to say. But once I created this core messaging document, it made it so much easier and faster to create content. And I realized that my messaging actually started landing with people because I was repeating the same messages just in different ways. And this is where I want to share a trick with you that not a lot of marketers will share. Repurposing is a strategy. It's not lazy. Repurposing means taking one piece of content and turning it into multiple different formats. So maybe it's a blog post that you turn into a social media carousel, or a reel, or a story, or vice versa. Maybe it's an email you sent to your subscribers and you can repurpose it into a social media post. Listen, most people only see your content once, maybe twice. So by repurposing it, you're increasing the chances of your audience actually seeing it. And even if they did see it before, chances are they don't remember it, or they'll need the reminder in order to take action. This also means you can take something you posted 6 months ago and post it again just in a new way. Now you're not constantly trying to come up with new ideas, but you're taking the core messaging that works and drives engagement and you're just recycling it. And look, generic post prompts are great to get you started, but the goal is to graduate beyond them. Once I built this system that fit my style using Airtable, I actually went from posting maybe once a week to posting 5 times every single week since. And it's not because I magically had more time in the day or was self-motivated. It's because I actually had the system that fit my life. And here's where we go a little bit deeper. When you understand why you're posting and what your audience needs to hear, think, or do next, you're not going to need prompts anymore. The ideas will just come to you because you'll know exactly what to say and who needs to hear it. And here's what this all adds up to, and it's not what most people expect. Quick pause, because if any of this is landing differently than what you've heard before, then hit the subscribe button on my channel because this is what my content is all about. Now, here's what people don't expect. No one's gonna build this system for you, but that shouldn't be discouraging. It should be empowering because now you get to build a system that actually fits your life instead of somebody else's. Because the goal is not to go viral or to have millions of followers. The goal is to show up consistently and authentically so that the right people find you and wanna hire you. And you can do this with only 500 followers. You can do this posting just once or twice a week. You can do this as one person without a marketing team or VA. You're not bad at social media. You've just been using a system that was built for somebody else. And now that you know the first places to start to build that system that actually fits your life, it's gonna be a lot easier to stay consistent, which is important because people need to hear what you have to share. They need your voice and your message in the unique way that you can share it. And it's really hard to show up for people when you keep disappearing online. Now that you know how to start building the system to keep you consistent, you're probably wondering, how am I gonna figure out what to say in the first place? So click on the video on the screen and I'll show you an easy to follow strategy right now.